A billionaire husband publicly proposes to his mistress, unaware that his pregnant wife is among the onlookers. A stunning display of fireworks burst forth over Manhattan's East River, shimmering like brilliant daggers on the shadowy waters as billionaire tech visionary Aurelius Storm knelt dramatically. In his outstretched hand sparkled a magnificent diamond ring, capturing the astonished gasp of New York's elite as he proposed, not to his pregnant wife, but to the enchanting socialite Dahlia Moore. Amidst the electrifying throng, concealed behind a flurry of camera flashes and murmurs of awe, stood his wife, Seraphine Storm. Her complexion was ashen with shock, her eyes widened in disbelief, one hand gently cradling her heavily pregnant belly. Drop a 1 if you're already captivated, or a 2 if you believe Aurelius is beyond redemption. It was meant to be Aurelius' night of glory, an extravagant birthday celebration aboard his private yacht. A sumptuous event filled with orchestral harmonies, exquisite cuisine, and the most influential figures of Manhattan. What transpired, however, was a stunning act of public treachery, a drawn-out horror immortalized in sharp focus by eager photographers. Each moment of Aurelius' betrayal streamed live on screens around the globe. As the hush of Manhattan's elite deepened into an oppressive stillness, every gaze fixated on the tormented Seraphine. Her heart broke in plain sight as the man she adored handed her position to another woman, igniting a scandal poised to capture headlines from New York to London. Aurelius Storm had always resided at the breathtaking pinnacle of affluence and allure, a status forged by his innovative tech startup, soaring achievements in real estate, and calculated endeavors that established him as Manhattan's shining star. Behind the dazzling exterior, Aurelius wrestled with a constant anxiety, his charisma and drive concealing a deep-seated restlessness that rendered him more susceptible to vulnerability. Every evening, as he moved through circles brimming with ambitious individuals keen to extract his power, the tension escalated until it erupted in this highly visible breakdown. Seraphine had always been an outsider in Aurelius' dazzling realm of renown and influence. Emerging from the shadows, she first enchanted him at a modest hospital charity gala. Their serene personal wedding left New York's elite perplexed, as they anticipated a grand affair fit for royalty. For a fleeting instant, their romance appeared invincible, until Aurelius' unwavering quest for achievement pulled him away, leaving Seraphine tormented by lingering doubts and unvoiced concerns she fought to keep at bay. Yet, neither Seraphine nor Aurelius could have foreseen the catastrophic intricacies woven by Dahlia Moore. Her allure captivating, her aspirations unyielding, her tactics shrewd enough to take advantage of Aurelius' weaknesses. As Seraphine approached the final weeks of her pregnancy, each scandalous moment was immortalized on film, plunging her into a waking nightmare. A treachery so intense, so soul-crushing, it transcends the limits of any news story. Share your city in the comments below. From where are you witnessing this astonishing tale develop? Aurelius crafted his public image with charisma and a relentless drive for success. At 25, he launched an innovative tech startup, adeptly shifted its direction to attract a surge of venture capital, and ultimately sold it for an astonishing valuation. He quickly started acquiring properties in sought-after Manhattan areas, building partnerships with global investors, and gracing the covers of business publications. Despite his evident strength, Aurelius frequently felt a sense of discomfort at gatherings of the elite. Colleagues and social climbers surrounded him like predators drawn to a scent, eager to claim a portion of his power. On most evenings, he would wear a smile, engaging in handshakes and negotiating agreements under the glow of crystal chandeliers. Yet, after spending countless hours in the serene solitude of his penthouse, a heavy anxiety settled upon him. The Storm brand inspired deep respect. If Aurelius so much as sneezed, it turned into a sensation. At a fundraiser for children's health care, he was captivated by Seraphine's sincerity and warmth upon their meeting. She was completely unaware that he was a billionaire. She graciously expressed her gratitude for his support of the hospital's new pediatric wing. Captivated by her genuine nature, Aurelius chased after her with a resolve that astonished everyone around him. His board members, personal assistants, and even his socialite acquaintances. Their wedding was a deeply personal affair, filled with emotion, and attended primarily by Seraphine's family along with a few of Aurelius's dearest friends, among them Lionel Caldwell, a loyal companion since their youth. For a time, Seraphine dedicated herself to charitable endeavors, convinced that she could enhance her impact through the Storm influence. With her leadership, the Storm Foundation provided scholarships, established libraries in underprivileged areas, and supported international medical missions. Aurelius reveled in her accomplishments, championing the funding of entire programs through her influence. Yet, every philanthropic endeavor drew him further from home, with international summits, contract signings, and the relentless obligations of managing a multibillion-dollar empire. Seraphine attempted to disregard it. Ultimately, her father had instilled in her the belief that true love involves standing by a partner in both good times and bad. Little did they know, Dahlia Moore was observing Aurelius with keen interest, fully cognizant that a stressed and burdened billionaire was an easy target. As Seraphine grappled with her doubts, Dahlia was seamlessly weaving herself into Aurelius's life, establishing a closeness that took both him and Seraphine by surprise. Share with us your location while you read. Share your city or country and let's continue the discussion. Seraphine's existence started to come apart gradually, in the smallest of measures. Initially, there was a nuanced change in Aurelius's behavior, the palpable tension that emanated from him after his late-night meetings, the swift motion with which he would conceal his phone whenever she came near. She recalled the joy that used to light up his face when he returned home. His eyes would sparkle, and he'd envelop her in a heartfelt, sincere embrace. He appeared tormented, retreating with transient justifications of fatigue. At times, Seraphine reminded herself that Aurelius had always been in a state of constant motion. His thoughts spun with possibilities of entering European markets, exploring innovative tech opportunities in Silicon Valley, and engaging in philanthropic collaborations that required extensive travel across continents. Yet her instincts whispered that there was something more troubling beneath the surface. She had never felt the urge to sift through his messages or search his pockets, yet the persistent doubt in her heart grew ever more insistent. During that time, Seraphine realized she was expecting. She had been experiencing a sense of lightheadedness and constant fatigue, which she first attributed to her busy schedule. Yet when two pink lines illuminated the test strip, her entire world shifted. She murmured, "We're having a baby," to her reflection, tears mingling joy and panic. She steeled herself to reveal the news to Aurelius, wishing it would rekindle his affection and draw him nearer. Yet, the moment never seemed appropriate. Every time she attempted to reach out, he would be engaged in a hurried call, quickly reviewing an important contract, or absorbed in a crisis occurring on the other side of the world. Introducing Dahlia Moore. With a captivating presence and an air of self-assurance, Dahlia understood the art of captivating a formidable man, particularly one eager for genuine connection. At a lavish gala designed to support art initiatives for disadvantaged youth, she encountered Aurelius. With the finesse of a master storyteller, Dahlia chuckled at his humor, fluttered her lashes during his charitable discourses, and made him feel like the most intriguing individual present. In essence, Dahlia brought a sense of affirmation and thrill to the areas where Seraphine's presence had been dulled by monotony. If Seraphine had expressed her doubts sooner, she could have reduced Dahlia's chance to act. Yet, heartbreak resembles an iceberg, often hidden beneath a vast sea of denial, poised to collide with unsuspecting vessels. Would it be possible for him to check in? Are you still here with us? Feel free to share your thoughts. I'm eager to hear that you're engaged with the journey. The initial concrete indication of trouble emerged as a restaurant receipt tucked away in the pocket of Aurelius' finely tailored jacket. Seraphine was engaged in the task of laundry, a surprisingly soothing endeavor for her, even with the presence of household staff, as it brought back memories of simpler days when she noticed a neatly folded slip. The date coincided with one of Aurelius' late-night disappearances, and the name of the restaurant was hastily written beneath a substantial bill that unmistakably suggested more than just a casual business dinner. A shiver crept down her spine as she envisioned him in the soft, shadowy glow of that private place, exchanging hushed confidences with someone other than herself. Before long, additional clues began to accumulate. A subtle hint of an unknown fragrance lingering on Aurelius' collar, mysterious calls from an unrecognized number at odd times, and receipts for extravagant presents that had never found their way to her. Every clue deepened Seraphine's mounting suspicion that her husband's betrayal was not merely a passing notion, but a tangible truth. To prevent herself from spiraling, Seraphine turned to Ingrid Reyes, a pediatric nurse and a dear friend from her days volunteering at children's shelters. Ingrid, having known Seraphine since their teenage years, encouraged her to communicate candidly with Aurelius. "Share the news about the baby," she suggested, as she stirred sugar into her coffee at their favorite little cafe. "Demonstrate to him that he remains connected to a larger whole, a community." Seraphine nodded, her heart racing with anticipation. She hoped that once Aurelius discovered their child, he would break free from the fog that seemed to envelop him. That night, she lingered by the living room window, her gaze fixed outside until the clock struck well past midnight. The city's perpetual radiance enveloped the space in a solitary shade. At last, the elevator chimed, and Aurelius stepped inside, his eyes glazed and the scent of premium spirits clinging to him. He muttered that a business dinner had extended beyond its expected time. Seraphine parted her lips, ready to reveal it all, to plead for truth, yet the words remained trapped within her. She envisioned him drifting away once more, providing feeble justifications. Fatigue consumed her. From the expansive windows of their penthouse, she gazed out at the city, alive with vibrant energy. She pondered whether any of those shimmering lights were connected to Dahlia Moore, the woman seemingly crafting Seraphine's life narrative without her approval. If you have ideas simmering, don't hesitate to express them. Share your thoughts in the comments so we can engage in a conversation. Dahlia Moore moved effortlessly through the social circles of Manhattan, captivating both the affluent and the cautious with her undeniable poise. She came into the world without the advantages of wealth. Whispers suggested she originated from a modest Midwestern town, yet she had perfected the art of socializing at high-profile events and cultivating profitable connections. Some murmured that she engaged in delicate maneuvering, positioning herself alongside powerful men who could elevate her into more prestigious realms. Some believed that, hidden behind her refined exterior, Dahlia nurtured aspirations as grand as the towering skyscrapers of Midtown. When Dahlia focused on Aurelius Storm, she carried out her scheme with the meticulousness of a masterful operation. She participated in the same charitable events he frequented, chuckling a touch too heartily at his stories. She facilitated connections through shared contacts, casual conversations about real estate and technology slowly evolving into deep, late-night discussions about aspirations and anxieties. Aurelius first brushed aside his deepening interest as nothing more than friendship, a way to unwind with someone who truly got him. Yet Dahlia's allure was undeniable, breaching his defenses precisely at the moment he felt most exposed. In just a matter of weeks, covert coffee breaks evolved into intimate dinners at shadowy restaurants, where Aurelius could nearly persuade himself that it was all a figment of his imagination. He justified his lapse in judgment. The grind of work had been relentless, and Seraphine appeared too engrossed in her own endeavors to recognize his fatigue. Dahlia offered only a listening ear, yet the bond they shared deepened with every fleeting encounter. Throughout it all, Dahlia skillfully navigated the nuances of her feelings, suggesting a profound connection without overtly insisting that Aurelius leave his wife. The tension built gradually, meticulously crafted to capitalize on the perfect opportunity. She never anticipated that Seraphine would be expecting, nor did she foresee that her meticulously crafted scheme to secure her position as the next Mrs. Storm would be thwarted by an unborn child who possessed an undeniable stake in Aurelius' destiny. On the evening Dahlia first encountered Seraphine in person, at a charity dinner where Aurelius presented them as a simple courtesy, she observed Seraphine's serene presence and understated elegance. Dahlia understood that bringing down this wife would be more complex than simply dismantling a delicate socialite. Seraphine exuded a warmth that Dahlia found elusive, a genuine kindness that sparked unwavering loyalty. Your feedback is always appreciated. Let us know with a 1 if this dynamic catches you off guard, or a 2 if you anticipated it. The anticipation grew as Aurelius' 30th birthday celebration drew near. The Storm family seldom approached anything with moderation, and whispers suggested that the upcoming party would eclipse his past spectacles. Set aboard an opulent private yacht named the Valiance, the evening was destined to be a spectacle of elegance, complete with dazzling fireworks, orchestral performances, and an exclusive guest list featuring the elite from politics, art, and finance. The buzz echoed through Manhattan. Every influencer and tabloid buzzed with speculation about which celebrities would grace the event, which high-fashion designers would adorn Aurelius and Seraphine, and whether the paparazzi could capture any tantalizing exclusives. In the past, Seraphine oversaw the intricacies of event planning for Aurelius' birthdays, carefully selecting floral arrangements and seating charts to create an atmosphere that embodied both sophistication and warmth. This year, Aurelius made the bold decision to hand over control to an unconventional party planner, Jareth Renwick, leaving Seraphine out of the equation. The sharp pang of being left out hit her hard. Each time she tried to add her thoughts, Jareth would dismiss her, stating that Mr. Storm had provided clear directives. Seraphine held her tongue, chalking up the slight to Aurelius' tension. It's possible he was overwhelmed with the final touches on significant international agreements. In a last effort to rekindle their bond, Seraphine extended an invitation to Aurelius for an intimate dinner at her home, just a week prior to the significant occasion. She crafted a delightful meal of risotto, accompanied by roasted vegetables, and paired it with his favorite vintage red wine, while she opted for sparkling water herself. As the meal progressed, she gathered her resolve. She was on the verge of disclosing her pregnancy. Then Aurelius' phone illuminated with Dahlia's name. A brief flash of alarm passed over his face. With a quick motion, he made his way outside, finding refuge on the balcony to carry on with his pressing conversation. Seraphine's heart raced within her chest. She gazed at the half-eaten plates, a poignant realization washing over her that the moment had slipped away. As the night faded into dawn, the momentous day of Aurelius' birthday dawned, marked by limousines parked along the docks, champagne cascading freely, and Dahlia more weaving through the crowd of distinguished attendees. Seraphine was not convinced it was just a matter of chance. With her senses heightened, she stepped onto the Valiance, oblivious to the impending heartbreak that would exceed her darkest fears. Intrigued by what unfolds next? Express your enthusiasm in the comments if you're eager for more. Under a canopy of starlight, the Bravery shimmered against the dark waters of the East River. Golden bulbs shimmered along the yacht's rails, while a small orchestra performed a spirited classical piece infused with a modern flair. Through the expansive windows that reached from floor to ceiling, Seraphine caught sight of the elegantly dressed crowds in luxurious silks and expertly tailored suits, sipping cocktails and engaging in soft, reverent conversations about the formidable empire of Aurelius Storm. As she stepped onto the deck, a wave of nausea washed over her, stemming not only from her early pregnancy, but also from the tight knot of tension coiled within her. In every nook of the vessel, hints of Aurelius' meticulous selection were evident. Signature cocktails inspired by his accomplishments, decor that embodies his charitable efforts, and large posters showcasing the philanthropic collaborations Seraphine had played a pivotal role in initiating. She endeavored to concentrate on the bright side, reassuring herself that this evening could be the ideal moment to reveal their child. Yet a disquieting sensation crept at the periphery of her awareness, alerting her that something grave was on the verge of happening. The premonition manifested sooner than expected. Seraphine noticed Aurelius by the yacht's bar, deeply engrossed in a lively discussion. His posture exuded a sense of ease, bordering on excessive relaxation. Beside him, Dahlia more shimmered in an exquisite evening gown, her hand gracefully resting on Aurelius' arm, a gesture that spoke of a connection far deeper than mere association. Seraphine felt a sudden tightness in her throat. She had her suspicions about Dahlia's role, but witnessing them together in a public space, exchanging quiet laughter and clinking champagne glasses, felt like a dagger to her heart. With tears clouding her vision, Seraphine slipped quietly behind a crowd of guests, striving to stay hidden from view. With a flourish befitting his role, Jareth Renwick, the party planner, set the stage for Aurelius' official birthday speech, beckoning him to take the spotlight and engage the audience. Aurelius, unaware of Seraphine lurking in the shadows, beckoned Dahlia to stand next to him. He celebrated the generous spirit fueling his empire, raising a glass to fresh starts, as the gathered audience erupted in applause. Seraphine stifled a cry. Her husband raised his glass to celebrate fresh starts, oblivious to the new life blossoming within her. In that instant, it felt as though Dahlia was the focal point of his new beginning, rather than Seraphine. If you're experiencing tension, share your thoughts by typing "tension" in the comments. The embarrassing peak arrived unexpectedly. As the speech came to an end, the deck resonated with applause. Dahlia more advanced with a dazzling smile that showcased her as the true highlight of the night. Aurelius extended his arm to her. Cameras erupted in a flurry, snapping every angle with relentless precision. Seraphine, quaking at the rear of the throng, scarcely noticed Lionel Caldwell easing himself beside her. Lionel, Aurelius' dearest companion from their time at an English boarding school, had long nurtured doubts regarding Dahlia's motives. He rested a reassuring hand on Seraphine's shoulder, worry evident in his expression. Across the sleek deck, Dahlia retrieved a petite box from her stylish handbag. The silence that enveloped the room was charged with anticipation. "I have a small surprise for the man of the moment," she declared, raising her eyebrow in a teasing manner. Aurelius, appearing a bit bewildered, allowed Dahlia to lead him to a focal point. The onlookers formed a tight circle around them, breaths held in anticipation. Seraphine's heart echoed with urgency. Dahlia dramatically unveiled the box, showcasing a polished platinum key within. She raised it high. "For a new penthouse, just for us," she purred, her voice carrying to the front row with enticing clarity. Gas flowed through the crowd of spectators. Aurelius' eyes grew wide with shock, and he stumbled over his words, producing only a faint murmur. The audience, some believing this was a choreographed moment, erupted into unprompted applause. Whispers floated through the air, suggesting that the key represented the dawn of a new chapter. A handful of photographers, sensing a more significant story, jostled for prime positions to capture the perfect images. Seraphine felt a wave of dizziness wash over her. The future she had carefully crafted with Aurelius, her charitable endeavors, their promises to each other, the child they were expecting, crumbled in an instant, leaving only devastation in its wake. Her focus sharpened, shadows encroaching from the periphery. Lionel seized her just as her knees gave way. What Dahlia or anyone else was unaware of was that Seraphine was expecting a child. She was resolute that her unborn child would not face such public disgrace. And so they found themselves caught in the midst of the grand performance. Aurelius's complexion drained of color as he recoiled from Dahlia, the gravity of the situation dawning on him amidst the watchful eyes of the city's elite and the relentless flash of cameras. Before anyone could fully comprehend Dahlia's audacious act, Seraphine broke free from Lionel's hold and staggered ahead. She craved clarity, yearning to witness the look on Aurelius' face as he faced the reality that his expectant wife had just seen it all. "What do you think about this twist? What are your thoughts? Did the twist catch you off guard, or were you already onto it?" A heavy stillness enveloped the yacht's deck as Seraphine's gaze met Aurelius. In that fleeting moment, she glimpsed the sheer horror reflected in his eyes, a silent acknowledgement of his entrapment in a monumental treachery. Dahlia, seemingly unaware of Seraphine's importance, remained with the key held high, her smile slowly diminishing as confusion took the place of her earlier triumph. The silence shattered in a whirlwind of camera clicks, eager murmurs, and intrusive lenses focusing intently on Seraphine's tears. Aurelius blurted, trying to seize the moment, "It's over, Dahlia." His voice, heavy with urgency, echoed through the assembly. "This situation is coming to a close, once and for all." The words seemed inadequate, particularly in light of the diamond ring box that Dahlia had hidden in her purse. Rumors of a supposed engagement proposal had already started to drift through the air on the deck. Seraphine's chest felt as though it were caving in. She felt the urge to face Aurelius, to raise her voice at him, to seek answers. Yet the overwhelming presence of so many onlookers ensnared her in a whirlwind of sorrow and crippling embarrassment. How could such an intimate battle be exposed to the world in this manner? She grasped the rail for stability, keenly conscious of her own frailty and the delicate state of the baby. Dahlia, finding her balance once more, adjusted her stance with poise. "Seraphine," she remarked, masking her words with a sweet veneer, "I wasn't aware you'd be here this evening." Her gaze darted toward Aurelius, filled with an unspoken reproach. This deviation from the intended course was unexpected. Yet the spectators, many capturing the moment on their devices, had started to perceive a developing narrative far more captivating than any lavish pyrotechnic show could offer. In an instant, Lionel Caldwell maneuvered through the crowd, grasping Seraphine's arm with a fierce sense of protection. "We are departing," he announced, his gaze intense. He cast a searing look at Aurelius, challenging him to intervene. Aurelius remained frozen, every fiber of his being caught in a struggle between pursuing Seraphine and managing the chaos that Dahlia had set in motion. As Seraphine permitted herself to be guided away, she stole one last look at Aurelius's troubled visage. She hoped he experienced even a sliver of the anguish piercing her heart. She fervently hoped that, amidst the chaos, their child would have the comfort of at least one steadfast parent in a world filled with headlines too harsh to overlook. If this tale has you on the edge of your seat, drop hooked in the comments. In the crisp morning light, Seraphine nestled within the guest suite of Lionel Caldwell's townhouse. She found it impossible to confront the moment when she had seen Aurelius's quiet descent into dishonesty. Outside, the towers of Manhattan shimmered in the early light, yet the lively cityscape only highlighted her sense of smallness and the fractures within her soul. Lionel prepared her tea, his worry unmistakable. "Apologies, Seraphine," he whispered. "Had I been aware of Dahlia's scheme, I would have certainly alerted you. Aurelius mentioned that she was merely a fleeting affair. I never imagined she would attempt such a public spectacle, particularly on his birthday." Seraphine fought to hold back her tears, a burning sense of betrayal churning within her. In the quiet confines of his office, Aurelius walked back and forth, away from the prying eyes of cameras and the smug expressions of Dahlia. He came to understand the grave error he had committed, permitting Dahlia to enter his world, allowing her to exploit his weaknesses, and naively thinking he could manage it all without repercussions. The phone buzzed relentlessly, lighting up with calls from reporters and board members, each one desperate for answers. The images plastered on gossip sites were mortifying, Dahlia smiling at him with a key, Seraphine's sorrowful departure. In a fervent effort to mend the frayed edges of his marriage, Aurelius poured his heart into messages on Seraphine's voicemail, each one more poignant than the previous. "Apologies," he echoed repeatedly, much like a malfunctioning vinyl. He acknowledged his foolishness and naivety, swept away by the thrill of attention from a woman who made him feel validated. In a bid to demonstrate his remorse, he was willing to do anything: couples therapy, a public press conference, even a financial separation from Dahlia. Yet Seraphine remained unresponsive to his attempts to reach her. She felt an emptiness, protecting her pregnancy as if it were a delicate secret. Ingrid Reyes, her trusted companion, came to offer a sympathetic presence. Amidst her tears, Seraphine revealed her deep fear of becoming a single mother, while the thought of cohabiting with Aurelius, who had so callously dismissed her emotions, felt just as unbearable. Lionel subtly orchestrated security measures to prevent the paparazzi from overwhelming the townhouse. For the time being, Seraphine could tend to her sorrow in a quiet solitude. The tranquility, however, hung delicately in the balance, threatened by an unrelenting scandal, fueled by Dahlia's craving for fame and the audience's insatiable desire for dramatic intrigue. Are you reveling in the drama or feeling concerned for Seraphine? Leave a comment with Team Seraphine to express your support. In just a matter of days, Dahlia more intensified her quest for the spotlight. She playfully hinted at an upcoming interview with a sensationalist TV host, vowing to reveal everything about her relationship with Aurelius Storm. Tabloids and news sites erupted with sensational headlines, featuring phrases such as billionaire cheating scandal, secret penthouse affair, and pregnant wife blindsided. At this moment, it won't. The internet consumed every speculation, from murmurs of Dahlia expecting a child, which Seraphine believed to be mere fabrications, to assertions that Aurelius was leaving Seraphine to wed his mistress. Seraphine lingered in Lionel's townhouse. The fatherly warmth he provided evoking memories of more peaceful days. It shattered her spirit that Aurelius, once her steadfast beacon of faith, had become the very cause of her anguish. Ingrid Reyes diligently cared for Seraphine's prenatal health, making sure she kept up with her doctor's appointments even with the reporters waiting just outside. "Remember," Ingrid would softly say, "this little one requires your strength." Aurelius, for his part, delved further into the intricacies of crisis management. The communications director demanded a prompt statement refuting the supposed involvement with Dahlia, as legal advisors prepared documents warning her of potential defamation lawsuits. Yet Dahlia was shrewd, dropping alluring clues about the proof she supposedly held. Affectionate correspondence, message dialogues, and a subtle hint regarding a distinct residence in Tribeca intended for her and Aurelius to enjoy together. In a quest to validate or dismiss Dahlia's assertions, Seraphine found herself in an unusual scenario, meticulously examining Aurelius' real estate paperwork to determine whether he genuinely possessed a concealed penthouse in Tribeca. To her astonishment, there was, in fact, a Storm Enterprises corporate condo nestled in Tribeca, utilized from time to time by traveling executives. Did Dahlia possess a key, or had Aurelius genuinely meant to reserve it for her? The idea devastated Seraphine, who held on to the hope that Aurelius' regret was sincere, rather than merely a consequence of societal condemnation. Yet, doubts lingered in the corners of her thoughts. Ultimately, Aurelius had already deceived regarding the affair. What other secrets could he be hiding? The tumult of doubt, sorrow, and being in the spotlight pressed down on her, intensifying the worries of her pregnancy. She yearned to escape it all, to seek refuge in a tranquil countryside town where the prying eyes of the paparazzi could not reach them. Yet the prospect of building a lasting family with Aurelius anchored her to a thread of optimism. Do you think there's room for redemption? Should there be a second chance? If yes, then yes. If no, then never. As the much-anticipated day of Dahlia's televised interview dawned, Seraphine settled in to watch the broadcast from the comfort of Lionel's living room. Ingrid and Lionel stood beside her, arms crossed, their faces set in stern lines as Dahlia made her entrance onto the set, adorned in a deep crimson dress that hugged her every curve. The host presented her with a facade of impartiality, yet it was clear to all that viewership spiked with such dramatic incidents. In the span of 20 minutes, Dahlia wove a narrative about a solitary billionaire, Aurelius Storm, ensnared in a passionless marriage, longing for true connection and someone who genuinely comprehended his soul. She asserted that their connection transcended mere desire, recounting hidden moments, indulgent treats, and intimate meals in softly illuminated nooks. As if that weren't enough, she revealed a gleaming key, declaring it gave her entry to the spot we intended to enjoy together. The studio audience absorbed every tantalizing detail. Seraphine felt a knot in her stomach. Even though Aurelius had admitted to the affair, listening to Dahlia's theatrical interpretation felt like daggers piercing her heart over and over. Ingrid gently massaged Seraphine's back, offering her silent encouragement, as Lionel muttered curses quietly to himself. With tears glistening in her eyes, Seraphine observed Dahlia's steadfast self-assurance and her dramatic flair. Did Dahlia genuinely see herself as the victim, or was this entire scenario crafted to create a rift so profound that Seraphine would never find it in her heart to forgive Aurelius? In the concluding part of the interview, Dahlia stated, "He assured me of a future. It's not my responsibility that he chose to be dishonest with his wife." A wave of gas swept through the audience. The host inquired, "Are you suggesting that Aurelius Storm deceived you?" Dahlia's gaze sharpened, her voice pretending to embody a fragile innocence. "It was clear to me that his marriage had reached its conclusion, with only the formalities left to address." A surge of disgust crashed over Seraphine. She felt the warm tears tracing paths down her cheeks. Ingrid reached for the remote and turned off the TV. The screen faded to darkness, yet Dahlia's words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. Drawing in a hesitant breath, Seraphine whispered, "I must talk to Aurelius. Enough of the confusion, enough of the back and forth." She needed to listen intently to his account regarding the Tribeca condo, the matter of Dahlia's alleged key, and whether there remained even a hint of truth to recover. Across town, Aurelius downed a glass of whiskey, his eyes aflame with regret, as he too observed the interview replay. Regardless of the sensationalism surrounding Dahlia's statements, it was undeniable that he had ignited the spark that led to this explosion. What would your next move be if you were in Seraphine's shoes? We invite you to express your opinions in the comments section. A clandestine gathering took place in an exclusive lounge at the Waldorf Empire Hotel. Lionel demanded stringent security measures, preventing journalists and inquisitive spectators from getting through. Aurelius was the first to arrive, his shoulders drooping and his eyes lined with fatigue. Seraphine entered shortly after, her demeanor calm and collected, masking the chaos that churned within her. She gripped her purse tightly, her knuckles pale with anxiety, each heartbeat resonating in her ears. Aurelius started to speak as soon as she took her seat. "I never gave her a key to any penthouse," he said, his voice raspy. "She took it, or perhaps she replicated it, or—" "Oh, Seraphine, I'm at a loss. The Tribeca location is owned by a corporation. My team can confirm that. The device held various files, records of property ownership, and logs detailing check-ins. Everything led to a singular truth. Dahlia had never truly set foot there, at least not as a recognized visitor." Seraphine's relief was laced with a simmering fury. If Dahlia crafted these half-truths to entice Aurelius away from his marriage, he had nonetheless walked willingly into her snare. "Is it all just her cunning influence?" Seraphine inquired, her words laced with sharp resentment. "Your affair remains, Aurelius, regardless of that." He concealed his expression within his palms. "I realize now that I acted foolishly and with a sense of self-interest." She filled me with a sense of gratitude, as if I could break free from the burdens of the empire. Yet I never imagined it would lead to this point. I absolutely never wanted to let you go. For a moment, Seraphine gazed at him, reminiscing about the cherished moments from their early days together. That evening, they twirled freely across the floor, their feet unshod and spirits high. The delight in his expression as they established a library in a challenged community. The moments they envisioned building a life as a family. Reluctant tears brimmed in her eyes. She longed to despise him, yet love intertwined with betrayal in the tumultuous, chaotic landscape of the heart. At last, her voice emerged. "I am expecting a baby." The silence was thick with the weight of unspoken words. Aurelius's eyes grew wide with surprise, only to then fall in regret. He extended his hand across the table, an attempt to hold her hands gently, yet she recoiled, tears quivering on her lashes. "We have a little one to consider," she murmured, "and I'm uncertain if I can bring it up alongside you. Not at this moment. What are your thoughts on this revelation? Share your excitement if the narrative has taken a surprising turn for you." Aurelius's expression twisted with a blend of remorse, sorrow, and a glimmer of optimism all at once. He reached for one last opportunity. "Seraphine, I'm willing to seek counseling," he proposed. "I will step back from public engagements, hand over my calendar to you, and do whatever is necessary. Allow me the chance to show you that I can earn your trust once more." Demano, caught in the turmoil of heartbreak and the longing for a stable family, Seraphine shut her eyes, remembering Lionel's gentle words of comfort and Ingrid's steadfast encouragement. She came to understand that she was surrounded by individuals who truly valued her happiness and health. Feeling a deep sense of responsibility towards her unborn child, Seraphine offered a cautious nod. "I can't promise to forgive you completely," she said, her tears shimmering in the light. "Restoring trust takes time, yet I'm willing to allow you the opportunity to demonstrate genuine transformation." Aurelius breathed out, feeling a wave of emotion wash over him like a subtle quake. After weeks of tension, a sense of relief washed over him, even with the daunting task that lay ahead. In the ensuing days, the tabloids erupted with a flurry of updates. Dahlia Moore was said to have retreated from the public eye following the scrutiny of her interview, which revealed several inconsistencies. Images have surfaced connecting her to Crispin Locklear, a competitor of Aurelius's, who could gain from the collapse of Storm Enterprise. The public gradually came to understand that Dahlia could have engineered a scandal aimed at undermining Aurelius's credibility in stock prices, potentially with Crispin's influence. In the meantime, Aurelius and Seraphine embarked on couples therapy, a journey filled with tension and emotional turmoil. Aurelius revealed his sense of being overwhelmed by the burden of the empire, acknowledging that he found a perverse solace in Dahlia's wild disregard for consequence. Seraphine faced her pain, recognizing that her compassion occasionally morphed into self-neglect, granting Aurelius an excess of unrestrained liberty. While not a storybook ending, they discovered sparks of hope. Aurelius decided to step back from specific expansions, entrusting responsibilities to a reliable team. Seraphine consented to go back home, yet she firmly requested to stay in a different bedroom until she regained the sense of security needed to share a space once more. United in purpose, they crafted fresh philanthropic objectives that intertwined her compassionate vision with his impact, convinced that a common mission could mend some of the scars. Thus, beneath the relentless scrutiny of Manhattan's tabloids, they summoned the courage to believe that they could reconstruct their lives, piece by piece, revelation by revelation. They move ahead not as a flawless pair, but as two fractured souls tied together by a love they are unwilling to let go of. We appreciate your companionship as we navigated this tumultuous path of betrayal, sorrow, and fragile hope. If you found it enjoyable, please type "endure" in the comments to demonstrate your strength. If you're interested in more captivating stories like this, please reach out to us. Your insights ignite our narrative passions. Until we meet again, keep your curiosity alive, nurture your compassion, and always hold on to the belief that even amidst the fiercest storms, a spark of hope can shine through.